The topic today will be actually to be a story about how KBC Group did task management right inside Jira. So yeah, it's basically the story of them. And as they used to say, it was an amazing journey with great results. So we'll see if that's really an amazing journey. Maybe you probably identify yourselves on the same context with the same problems, I assume. So yeah, just a little bit of presentations before. My name is Vitor. I am the development lead of the Adaptavist task management for Jira, which is the fastest growing add-on for task management in Jira. I am a Brazilian, apart from living in London, I am a Brazilian, so that's why I don't have this very nice British accent. And yeah, that's me, Vitor. And a little bit about KBC Bank, which is one of our customers, the one I'll be talking about today. So KBC is one of the biggest banks in Europe. Actually, it's the biggest bank in Belgium. And they have 11 million clients, so really huge numbers. They are present in other countries as well, like Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary here, so probably you know about them as well, Bulgaria and Ireland. And they have 40,000 employees, which is just unbelievable. So they are really big. Well, their vision is basically to be the reference for bank insurance in all of their core markets. Their core markets would be the countries they are present. And they always try to offer a unique experience for their customers. They always focus on a sustainable growth, always focusing on the long term, and they always strive to deliver high quality services and solutions. So that's KBC Bank. And a little bit about Adaptavist. So we are a solution partner, an Atlassian solution partner. We are based in London. However, we have other offices in the US and Canada as well. We are one of the biggest partners in the world. And as partners, we offer solutions for the Atlassian ecosystem, but we also have some add-ons for the marketplace. So currently, we have about 23 apps for the marketplace, spread around all the stages of the development life cycle. So our flagship products are Script Runner and Task Management for Jira. Who of you are using Script Runner? Nice. And how about Task Management for Jira? Some of you as well. Nice. Cool. Well, yeah, if you just want to know a little bit about the tools, just pass by on our booth. Anyway, presentation's done. Let's get it started properly now. So I will start by talking what KBC needed and what was the scenario before trying to put task management, all their task management needs inside Jira. Okay? Probably you find yourselves on a very similar situation as well. Let me just remove this. Okay, so at that point, they were using HP ALM, but they had already migrated to Jira. So most of the development team were already using Jira, but the task management part was still in HP Quality Center. So they were managing their tasks, managing their projects in Jira, but doing the task management part in HP Quality Center. And there was a reason for that, because for many years, there wasn't a solution that was a match for HP Quality Center right inside Jira. So the current solutions were too simple in comparison to HP Quality Center, which is an enterprise task management solution. I mean, it's a very powerful tool, but at the same point, it's a tool from the 90s. So it looks a bit old-fashioned, and most of the testers, they started to use Excel instead of using HP Quality Center, because it was just so hard to use. It just works on Internet Explorer, and it was so hard to integrate with Jira, so they were basically abandoning HP Quality Center and using Excel spreadsheets. So imagine that. So this was their context. So yeah, they basically needed to have all the information in a single place, so a single source of truth for their quality management and testing, and all the information about projects as well. So that's why they were looking for a solution inside Jira. Well, they also needed a tool that could scale. Well, you know, they are a big bank, so they have thousands of mainframe applications. They have applications running on terminals for clients when you go to withdraw some money, for example. And they also have applications for tablets and mobile phones. So they really literally have thousands of products, of applications to test. So they needed scale. And they also needed integration with automation for agile development. Because if they have thousands of applications to test, it's just impossible to do all manually, right? So, yeah, that's what they need in terms of scale. And also, they needed a tool that would be capable to integrate with the dev tools. So at this point, all developers were using Jira, was pushing code to Git repositories, which was integrated into Jira as well. So you just get a ticket, and you can see the code related to that Jira ticket, for example. But the test management solution wasn't integrated with that because it was in Quality Center. So they needed a better integration for that. And of course, they needed a tool that was easy to adopt because they would need to train, to convince many people to change the tool. You know, nobody wants to change, right? It's always hard to change. Is it okay? Yeah, my TV kind of blinked here. Anyway. So yeah, then they started to look for the right solution for them and what they have analyzed to find the right solution. So the thing is, they were using Jira. And can we just use plain Jira for test management? Eventually, you can create some custom issue types or some custom fields, try to customize some reports. I don't know. Maybe that would work for small teams, but it's definitely not a tool specialized for test management, right? How can you see some specific reports? Or how can you manage the traceability between your requirements, tests, and all? So Jira is the tool we all love and use on a daily basis, but it's not meant to be used for test management, right? So given that, they had basically two options. Or you can find apps or add-ons for Jira, which are good because they have native integration and they are affordable. Most of the apps in the marketplace are affordable. And however, most of the apps are more basic, so they have more basic features. I mean, in comparison to HP Quality Center, for example. On the other hand, they could choose a standalone tool, another standalone tool. But then they will still have the poor integration of a standalone tool with Jira. Usually these standalone tools are much more expensive because you need to pay for all the users again and again. However, standalone tools used to be much more feature-rich, such as HP Quality Center again, for example. So the thing is, test management for Jira is positioned in a way that we get the best of both approaches. So our approach is to be an app, so it's an add-on for Jira, with native integration, and it is still affordable. But at the same time, we focus on being an enterprise test management solution. So we still are feature-rich. So now, if you are migrating from HP Quality Center to or HP ALM, for example, to Jira, you can find a tool to replace your HP Quality Center capabilities. Okay. I'll show you why. So the main reason is that, as I said, it's a full-featured test management solution right inside Jira, so you don't need to switch between different applications. You can track your testing progress right inside Jira as well. You can create gadgets, dashboards, and collaborate with your colleagues. And you can also integrate with test automation, because we have an API out of the box, free of charge. So most things you can do manually, you can do by using the REST API. So then you can connect your automated tests. Excuse me. So, yes, and apart from that, task management for Jira is available for Jira Cloud, Server, and Data Center. So whatever you need to migrate from one environment to another, task management for Jira will be there. Well, as I said, task management for Jira, then it's an enterprise task management, right? And integration, it's really seamless. So, for example, here I have our standard issue screen, and then you can see some task information right on the issue screen. I can see that this user story is being covered by one test case, and the test case is passing, and it's approved to be executed. Also, I can see the latest executions, the environment they were executed against, the version of the test case, and so on. Some of the other capabilities you get when installing task management for Jira is a perfect fit for Agile, for both Agile and traditional approaches. So the cool thing is it's all inside Jira. So it's just all so fast to navigate to test cases, navigate back to issues, create dashboards. It's all integrated. So that will perform much better than just needing to switch to external tools or trying to create scripts to integrate, to pull information to generate some custom reports and this kind of thing. Well, in task management for Jira, you have a single repository for all your test assets. So it's all project-centric. So for each project, you can have test cases, plans, your test cycles, and this is the list of my test cases here. You can create a folder structure as well to organize your test cases. And since we are inside Jira, the traceability is much better. So you can link test cases to your requirements, even if your requirements are user stories, like issues in Jira, for example, or if you have requirements on Confluence pages. So you can link to Confluence pages as well. And yeah, they will be considered all requirements, and then you can see the traceability on the report. Of course, if you navigate to the issue, you can see the link on the other side as well. Anyway, we have some advanced features such as versioning for test cases. So you can create different versions for the same test case and then compare the difference between versions. So for example, here I am comparing two different versions. I can see in green what has been added. So it's quite important, particularly for regulated environments. Shared steps. This is another advanced feature. So it's basically the ability of reusing test cases, so I don't need to repeat myself every time I need to write a new test case. In this case, for example, I am reusing the test case logging because it's a very common test case, okay? So I don't want to write the 4 logging test cases again and again. So I just reuse the test case. If I change that test case, the changes will be reflected, so it's all linked. We also have test data parameters. That's what enables you to do data-driven tests. So here you can create your parameters, your different combinations of data, and then when you execute your test cases, it will replicate all the steps for each combination of values I have here. So your steps would be kind of a template, and then you have the different combination of data. So that's the kind of thing that is impossible to do with plain Jira, for example, right? Or even trying to extend an issue type. Well, we have up to 70 reports as well. How many reports Jira has out of the box? A couple or 10, so yeah, we have 70 reports focused on test management. So probably you'll find everything you need to see here on this report. And actually, most of the reports you can use as gadgets as well. I'll show you in a bit. Some of the reports, like this one, I really like the traceability report because here you can see the full picture from end to end, starting on your user stories or requirements. They could be Confluence pages, as I said before. And then we have the test cases linked to the requirement, the test executions of those test cases, and the issues found during testing. So this report, for example, enables you to do impact analysis, because you can see if you change some requirement, what tests will be affected, and vice versa. As I said, most of the reports you can use as Jira gadgets. So you just create your own dashboards, such as any other dashboard in Jira, and add one of these 60 gadgets we have available. So here I have some accumulated charts, line charts, bar charts. Some of them are related to the effort spent on your testing. Some of them are more related to the statuses or the progress of your testing. So we have gadgets for lots of different things, heat maps and so on. And the good news is all of the gadgets you can use on Confluence pages as well. So you just install another free add-on on Confluence, which is basically part of the test management, so it's free of charge. And then you can reuse the same gadgets on Confluence pages and build your own live reports in Confluence. So as any other Confluence page, you just type some information, add some of the gadgets on the page, and that's a very nice management report. And migration, of course, which was very important for KBC. So it's quite easy to migrate from Excel spreadsheets or CSV files, but we also have some out-of-the-box imported from other tools, such as TestLink, QA Complete, and some of the other tools in the market. So yeah, it's quite easy to migrate. You just follow the wizard, map columns to fields, and so on, and that's it. And last but not least, the REST API. So most things you can do manually in the tool, you can do by using the REST API as well. So this was a particularly important point for KBC. They wanted to integrate the automated tests with test management for Jira. And actually we have its magic session, I think it's at 11 or 11:30, which will show how you can integrate automated tests using Adaptavist test management. Well, that's not the focus of the presentation, but that's the tool that is going to be used. So yeah, I assume it's going to be a very nice presentation. Apart from the features, KBC found a very good support from Adaptavist. So we really love to work closely to the customers on a startup style, so we really want to get the feedback from the customers, work closely to get new ideas. And by the way, we have been working together with the guys from META-INF, particularly with Bolage since a couple years ago. And it's quite nice because they are behind the lines, they are on the customers, they can feel the pain of the customers, and then this feedback is really rich for us. And that drives our backlog. So yeah, we really like to work closely to our customers. In addition to test management for Jira, they also chose Script Runner. And actually, we use Script Runner on an integration with test management for Jira. And well, firstly, the first reason would be because Script Runner is a no-brainer for Jira. I mean, Jira cannot exist without Script Runner. It's just so flexible. You can customize the way you work, for example, by creating some scripted fields, which will calculate something on a Groove script and display the information on a custom field in Jira. Or you can automate tasks. For example, let's say you transitioned your issue from one state to another, and then you can write a Groove script to use the Jira REST API and create issues, or, I don't know, interact with some other product, for example, some external tool. So it's quite useful for customizing, automating, and integrating with other tools. And it's also, in addition to Jira, it's also available for Confluence, Bitbucket, and Bamboo. So you can customize all of these tools by using Script Runner. By the way, it's one of the top-selling add-ons on the marketplace. Well, now a little bit about the migration. So how KBC migrated like loads of people from HP Quality Center to a new tool right inside Jira. So firstly, they spent 3 months in a plan which they called migration risk mitigation. So firstly, they tried the migration on small groups and small projects, basically small teams, right, to see if it was going to work well. And as things worked well, so they started to accelerate the pace. And they basically did the migration by using Excel spreadsheets and some crazy Excel macros interacting via REST API. So the Excel macros, they mostly used for reconstructing some of the links between issues and test cases, because they had the issue key on the test cases in HP Quality Center, so they needed to reconstruct these links on Test Management for Jira. So yeah, they used both the Excel import and the REST API. And they did lots of webinars, internal webinars, to basically spread the word about the product inside the company. I mean, they needed to convince a lot of people to change, right? Okay, we also needed to do some adjustments on the tool. So we added a couple additional functionalities on the import wizard. They needed to map custom fields at that time. Well, it was more than a year ago now. And so, yeah, it was a great feature for the product anyway. So we prioritized and helped them so they could do the migration. We also introduced a new feature. Well, at that time it was a new feature, which is the shared steps I showed you before, which is similar to the HP Quality Center call to test. So that was a vital feature for them. So they really needed this feature. They used a lot on HP Quality Center. And again, it was a very important feature for the product. And that's one way we work closely to our customers. So we hear about their pain, we hear about the needs, and if that really makes sense for the product, we implement the feature. We change the priorities and so on. And also we have created some script runner scripts so we could pre-fill the create issue dialog when creating an issue. Well, let me try and explain a bit better. So when you are executing your test cases, you eventually will find a bug. You just click one button, trigger the create issue dialog, and then using script runner, we filled some of the fields, like the summary or the description, with some test information. So that was possible with script runner. And just in general terms, they were targeting to migrate 95% of the Belgian teams, but they migrated 100% of them, which was 130,000 test cases across 150 Jira projects. So really huge number, lots of data migrated. And finally, the result. So 6 months after the migration, they had increased by 100% the number of test cases and testers using the tool, because now testers really want to use the tool. They found value in using the tool. They weren't using Excel spreadsheets anymore. So now they, well, 6 months later, they had twice the number of test cases, 250,000 in 300 Jira projects. And just out of curiosity, on a particular release in last October, they executed 1,200 test runs with 17,000 test cases. So it's huge numbers for just 1 month. And that shows how the tool is performatic, how you can do things fast on the tool. They improved a lot the test coverage as well. So they have reported more than 3,000 bugs in 6 months, which is a lot. And they have integrated with automation tests. So they are using Selenium and HP UFT to run the automated tests. And then when they just wake up and go to work, all the results are inside the tool. They are also reporting bugs automatically via the automated tests. And that's the end of a happy story. So I hope that was helpful for you. And if you just want to learn a bit more about script runner and test management for Jira, just pass by on our booth and we can talk a little bit about it. So thank you very much.